Hi, my name is Tiffany. Welcome to Present for Myself. Welcome to the new subscribers who've joined since my last video. And for those of you who stay here, regardless of how long it's been between this video and the last, I appreciate you. Everything must change. Regardless of if you want to change or not, life will change around you. The seasons come and go. People come and go, relationships, obligations. And you've got to get ready to embrace what's coming. Within a matter of a week, from the recording of this video, it's going to be fall. Even on my way here, I saw the birds starting to form in their V formations, getting ready to fly south for the winter. My summer began with a loss that was very personal for me and my family. It was the loss of my father-in-law, who's one of the sweetest, kindest individuals I've ever known. And for those of you who know my story, you know that my father was murdered when I was 3 years old and I never knew him. It's a big part of the video I did called 5 Ways to Handle Regret. One thing that is for certain in this life is that regardless of if you think you know someone or something or some place or some organization or whatever it happens to be, and if you think they're going to be in your life the same, things change. Part of being present for yourself is being self-aware and finding yourself in whatever circumstance or feeling, whether that feeling be overwhelming joy at something that's about to occur in your life. Maybe you have a newness that's about to happen. Maybe you're about to give birth to your child, or maybe you're about to experience marriage and you're getting ready for your wedding, and it doesn't matter what it is. Or maybe the fall comes for you and it brings about a certain feeling of sadness, as it does for many. You have to be self-aware in everything. So what it meant for me was just assessing, where was I in his passing? And then as the summer wore on, I experienced loss through a friend who lost someone. And you might think, well, okay, so you experienced loss through a friend. She's the one who lost a person. But just to see my friend go through what she went through, knowing how private of a person she is, knowing that she's not one to easily show emotion, and to see her break down even publicly, I saw that. And empathetically, I grieved with her. And then recently, I learned of the passing of someone, and it was more of a disenfranchised type of grief. Disenfranchised grief is when people look at you and go, what's the big deal? Why would you even mourn that? Or, maybe you have to grieve privately because the relationship wasn't one that's publicly acceptable. For some people, it could be the loss of a pet, and they go, why are you crying? And why are you so upset? It was just a dog. It was just a fish. No, there are relationships that are built in this society, and some of us don't know what takes place and what people are going through when they're moved to do certain things. And then for other people, it could be the loss of a job. It could be the loss of coworkers. It could be and it doesn't always have to be, like I said, with a job or something like that. It doesn't have to be a human person. It could just be an experience. And I started to think about how when I was a child, the fall was a very sad time for me. It meant change, but it meant going back to something that was very stressful for me. And I've never talked about this publicly, but I think that as I grow as an individual, and one thing I promised you on this channel is that I'm not going to just be on this channel talking about things I know and educating people and whatever, but I'm also going to be going on my own journey of self-discovery and exploration. I think that if you're a teacher in this world, that one of the worst things you can do is to stop learning yourself. So I learned some things about myself and about the coming fall this year. I learned that I grieve summer, and that sometimes I don't anticipate fall with the joy that I should because of what it meant for me as a child. So as I've explored this through self-help and, therapy and therapeutic means, I've come to realize that for me, fall used to mean as a child going back into a stressful environment for me, which was school. I was good at school. I was a straight A student. I grew up and became president of my student body. I got scholarships to school, just a lot of things. But because of the toxicity that I grew up in my home environment, going back to school for me meant acknowledging that what was normal for other people wasn't normal for me. Going back to school for me meant acknowledging that we didn't have a lot of money. It meant comparing myself or having other people compare themselves with me for what they had and what I didn't. It meant, hey, I might get a new pair of shoes or I might not. And if I do get a new pair, and if I mess them up in any kind of way, I may not get a pair for quite a while to come. It meant free lunch. A lot of the students that were in my classes with me could afford to bring their own lunch or could afford hot lunch. It meant just seeing how different I was in some ways. I went to a school that was predominantly white, and I didn't have a lot of the black students that were there because they were bused to my side of town. I went to a school where I just felt stress in knowing that when I showed up, there were people, they probably talked behind my back. I wasn't very easily bullied, but I just, you could, because I'm an empath, you could feel people going, oh, she's so smart and she's in a class with a whole bunch of smart people and people who have a little bit of money and that can afford things. And she's always the one that can't afford the field trip money and sometimes I had to stay behind because my parents couldn't give me the money for the field trip. And while I was not impoverished, it still presented as stressful for me. I was in a class with a lot of people who weren't, the same race as me. They were white. I was black. I was poor. And even when they were poor, some of them thought they were better than me just because they were white kids. You went out to play, you could wear your high water pants and your pants with holes in them and grass stained things and things that didn't, because you were on the playground, you were playing, you were having a good time. There was not a lot of comparison. But in the fall, when everyone got their new clothes and you felt the stress of knowing your parents were going to be like, I don't know if we can get this and I don't know if we can get that. No shade or tea to, the parents who can't afford those things for their kids. I'm just speaking from self-reflection and what it felt like. And then I would go and on the one hand, here she is so smart and so popular. But on the other hand, I'm on the basketball team and I'm the only one that can't afford the new Reeboks that the whole basketball team has. And your coach just kind of looked the other way with the fact that I had on the shoes that were not name brand. And even though they made it a part of the team uniform, they just kind of let me slide. No one said anything, but you felt the way. And then there were other things that were going on in my home that just made it difficult for me to sometimes show up the way I really wanted to in school. So I made my personality and my, intelligence a huge part of my identity. Not so much my clothes and the way I looked, because I couldn't try to even compare myself on those levels. In the long run, it made me more resilient. It made me appreciate whatever I had. So I'm not knocking it, but I'm saying that the body keeps the score. And I remember even as early as this past, year, even now, I started to feel certain feelings and I had to get in touch with those and ask myself why sometimes I mourn summer leaving so hard. It's because summer for me was a safer space. With the change that's coming to fall, I want you to think about the things in your life that you've had to let go that you felt like were safe for you, whether it was a person or a season. And I want you to learn how to embrace what is to come and find the good in that. Now I look forward to the fall because I get a chance to wear my boots and go out into the crisp night and enjoy whatever fall festivities there happen to be. Begin self-reflecting and begin preparing yourself in a way that you can make it through whatever season is upon you. It's part of what I talk about on this channel so much. Finding yourself wherever you are, finding yourself wherever you are. Things change, whether they change cataclysmically, where there's just huge major event, or whether it's more like a butterfly effect. People are going to come into your life and they're going to leave your life. You're going to find a job, you may lose a job. Whatever you're going through right now, as it pertains to changing and getting ready for the next, letting go of what was, find yourself in it and reflect on who you are in every single process. That is how you will remain present for yourself. That is how you will remain strong enough to be present for community. That is how you will remain you, no matter what happens in your life.